Good afternoon. My name is FJones, and today I'm going to be presenting my internship program exit presentation, talking about the NELP standards. And this is for spring 2023 through Henderson State University for educational leadership. I'm currently a Caddo Hills Elementary teacher in the first grade. Okay, first we're going to have NELP 1.1. This standard is reflect on your capacity to collaboratively evaluate, develop, and communicate a school mission and vision designed to reflect a core set of values and priorities that include data, use, technology, equity, diversity, digital citizenship, and community. For this standard, I conducted an assignment over a school vision and a mission statement. And through this was with Dr. Stephanie Nehus, and this was in school finance. And through this assignment, we worked together to better education for all students, providing valuable and essential materials for students. We talked about funds that are properly used in the school system, core set of discipline that needs to be set when creating these values and budgets, have the same set of core values and priorities, talking about that like board members or people in the school system such as the principals, secretaries, teachers, superintendents, we all need to have the same set of core values and priorities, that we all have the same goal in mind of what we're trying to achieve with these budgets. And alignment of budget plus funding decisions to a vision and a mission statement will create trust and greater financial responsibility. And attached, we have a little picture that just talks about, how a mission statement, a vision statement, strategies that we use, like how are we going to achieve our vision, and then setting goals and objectives. So like why we're doing this will really help communicate these to stakeholders. Next, we have NELP 1.2. This was reflect on your capability to lead improvement processes. And in this assignment, I did an enrollment prediction assignment. And I really enjoyed this assignment because I was able to talk with my principal currently, and we were able to look at an enrollment evaluation. And it really showed, in our area, because we're such a small district, a decrease. But we talked about why, and I completely understood because we're in such a small district. But this was with Holly Cawthorn, and it was the evaluation of growth over 5 and 10 years and the projected enrollment over the years. So with this, we were able to look at a master schedule evaluation and how it may have to be evaluated over the next coming years of, if we don't have this amount of students, or if more students come in, how can we move teachers around? If we have more teachers in this grade or less in this, how will we have to move around activities, class schedules, make sure that each class is getting the same amount of hours that are needed. If we have more students, then we need more funds or more money, or we're going to have to get those or receive those. And it's also determined by economics, living situations, such as, the area that you live in, the district that you're in. It's based upon what is provided in that area that will bring new people in. And we talked about in our area, there's a lot of people that are coming back just because they previously lived there. But then there's also a lot of people who are just there because their families were here, but they're dying out. And so there's nothing really bringing them in. And so that's why I added this little emoji at the bottom of, new student enrollment open now, constantly sharing things on social media that really brings your school that, you want people to come there. NELP 2.1, reflect on your capacity to reflect on, communicate about, cultivate, and model professional dispositions and norms. We talked about nine characteristics of a great teacher assignment with Dr. Christy Campbell in supervisions and educational leadership. And we were able to go through Charlotte Danielson's framework for teaching domains, the 4 domains for a teacher, and for also like leadership roles of going through and evaluating, what could help you really be a good teacher. And we determined strengths of a great teacher and how to incorporate them in your classrooms along with your leadership. and also determining areas of growth for teachers. And with this, I added the little emoji of good teachers stick to the lines, but great teachers inspire new lines, such as good teaching, you have differentiation, growth mindset, but great teaching, you have beautiful questions, unforeseen connections, profound thinking, real world impact. So really getting those students involved. And also, keeping things private, using core values. Okay, NELP 2.3 was reflect on your capacity to model ethical behavior. This was talking about core values, building level interview assignment is what we did. And this was with Dr. Holly Cawthorn, and this was educational law and political systems. We were able to interview a principal at another school, and we were dealing with issues faced daily around SPED programs and protocols, making sure you're watching what you're saying, professional conduct and relationships when dealing with parents and legal issues, knowing how to talk to those parents. Some of them are dealing with enough already. They don't need you to just harp on them. Know how to talk with parents and really get to know them, but also, you want the best for them, and you want them to know that you want the best for them and their child. Core values, building responsibility, building relationships, teamwork, support, commitment, all having the same goal in mind. NELP 3.2 was reflect on your capacity to evaluate, cultivate, and advocate for equitable access to educational resources, technologies, and opportunities. This assignment was collaborative communication assignment in technology for district administrators with Dr. Holly Cawthorn. Through this, we were able to collaborate about computer programs for the upcoming year, discuss with the school district committees that work in that area. We discussed the programs and the cost for the district on each program that are used for different grade levels. We were able to write a letter to the superintendent and the board members discussing the need for these certain programs, such as Seesaw at the bottom. And when doing this, I wrote a letter to the superintendent, for example, and talked about how Seesaw is a needed collaboration tool for my school system or for my grade level, because it allows teachers to post assignments, like if we had to go home that day. It allows for parents and students and teachers to communicate one another, and if needed, it can be translated into a different language for those students. Students can also video themselves and submit an assignment or a discussion. You would talk about the strengths of the online program for student success and the strengths of parent-teacher communication, which there are other ones besides Seesaw, such as Clash Dojo. Okay, NELP 3.3 was reflect on your capacity to evaluate, cultivate, and advocate for equitable, inclusive, and culturally responsive instruction. So with this, we had an assignment over job description assignment for human resources and accountability with Dr. Holly Cawthorn. Through this assignment, we talked about the human resource position, which in my small district, which is the superintendent, and the job description of the human resource position at the school, the strengths, the weaknesses, what this person has to do. This is employee recruitment, priority policies, monitoring those policies, salaries, especially with this new law that's coming into place. That's really going to put effect on, the human resources or the superintendent in your district of what they're really going to have to enforce, what they're really going to have to look at in their district, of what are things that are going to need to be changed or implemented to make sure that everyone is receiving the same amount of what they're supposed to, and the big decisions that are going to be made. NELP 4.1 was reflect on your capacity to evaluate, develop, and implement high-quality technology-rich curricula programs. Through this, we were reviewing annual curriculum plan assignment. This was in curriculum strategies for educational leaders. This was with Dr. Christy Campbell. We evaluated the curriculum plan at our school, looking at the alignment, the detail-oriented, easy to access, making sure that teachers, stakeholders, or anybody that needed to look at these curriculum plans could really, come in and just read it pretty much. We determined strengths and weaknesses. We collaborated amongst ourselves and with others about, how these could be fixed or what were some strengths that we saw, and we used data-informed instructional improvement to help work on these. So with this curriculum planning process, we are able to look at this little image at the bottom, how we observe, you document, you plan, you implement, and then it just keeps going around. NELP 4.2 was about the same assignment a little bit, and we were a high quality and equitable academy or academic and non-academic instructional practices, resources, technologies, and services. So we were able to reflect on those, evaluate development, and make sure they were all implemented into our curriculum plan. NELP 4.4 was reflect on your capacity to collaboratively evaluate, develop, and implement the school's curriculum, instruction, technology, data. This was a brochure attached assignment for human resources and accountability with Dr. Holly Cawthorn. We just talked about self-awareness, reflection of new ways and aspects as a future leader that, how we would want to bring in new people. This kind of went back to the enrollment assignment that I had previously done of, how can I attract new students and new parents to want to get involved in my community? Self-reflection, focus areas, seeking more enrollment, how can I get more involved, especially if I was a leader now, how can I use my day and age of technology and things to get more people involved or show that, that my school is the best school. Using the school vision to really build on that, making sure and showing people that, our elementary through high school is all on the same grade, or is all on the same visual. We all have this vision of what we're doing from this point all the way to this point. Like it's not changed in the middle. Using ethical practices and valuing others and creating opportunities to include emerging trends, such as allowing for more connections and things inside high school, which is our high school is already doing, that allow students to get more academics and trainings in high school that will lead them more into college or a trade school. NELP 5.2 was reflect on your capacity to collaboratively engage and cultivate relationships. This was community and school diversity. This was with Dr. Christy Campbell. During this assignment, we determined demographics of my county, so it was Montgomery County and Caddo Hills District. We talked about the socioeconomic, the race percentage, ethics percentage, gender, and engaging in relationships and benefiting school improvement. So determining these different percentages and building on those of how our school can be better based upon our diversity and our socioeconomics. NELP 5.3 was reflect on your capacity to communicate through oral, written, digital means within the large organization. So we did social media presence, and this was with Dr. Christy Campbell, and we were looking at the gatekeeper of the account, such as who runs the Facebook account, who runs the Instagram account, who runs the school website, social media platforms, who's in charge, approval of material that is posted, what goes on, when do you post it, why do you post it at that certain times, policies that govern the materials that are posted, making sure that we're protecting ourselves and making sure that we have parental approval of who is being posted and making sure that who we do post, that we have permission to post them. Getting others involved and stakeholders, community involved, making sure that, they're wanting to get involved on our page, sharing our page, wanting to come to our school to volunteer, to show that, they're involved, to get their business more involved and shown that, they're involved in the community also. NELP 6.1 was reflecting your capacity to evaluate, develop, and implement management, communication, technology, school level government. And this was a literature review assignment with Dr. Christy Campbell. And this case study was over quite a few months, and it was over intervention improving students' achievement. So I gathered a few students, collected data, set goals, found strategies for improvement. We created those goals, we evaluated, we went back to make sure we had a data to see if anything needed to be changed or if it was working. And then we evaluated the information collected to create a summary to see if working with these students extra improved their test scores or if they needed smaller groups. NELP 6.2 was reflect on your capacity to evaluate, develop, and advocate for data-informed, equitable resourcing plan. So this was stakeholders review. And in the stakeholders review with Stephanie Nehus, we interviewed different members of the school district, including parents, bookkeepers, and teachers, and we discussed equitable funding and is it properly used in their how they believe it's used or what they see. Do they think it is used? Discuss overpaid and underpaid, what they think, discuss needs and changes that need to be adjusted, discuss student achievement, does funding impact or does funding have a positive impact or a negative impact, and compared and contrast the overall data from all the interviews and collect this data to see where we could build or what we needed to work on or what they thought. So how could we change that from their personal aspect? NELP 6.3 was reflect on your capacity to evaluate, communicate about and implement laws, rights, policies, and regulations. So this was a superintendent or central office interview questions with Dr. Holly Cawthorn. And we use evaluation instruments, checklists, tests. We talked about, why they use these, how it really helps them, what they prefer, the strengths and deficiencies of evaluation instruments, what they would fix or what they like about them. Steps for teachers in termination, how do you go about this, especially with this new law that's coming out? How do you plan to go about that if you're going to have to maybe possibly terminate some teachers in the future, or if you had to, what would you do? And the importance of EdReflect and the evaluation instruments for all teachers and making sure that they're all equal. So NELP 7.3 was reflect on your capacity to personally engage in, as well as collaboratively engage school staff in professional learning. So we had a principal interview, and this was Dr. Christy Campbell, and we were able to talk about professional cultures designed to engage school staff in creating a professional learning community. How can we help teachers distribute leadership so they don't think that it all is on you, that they have a part and they have a way of being a leader in their own area. School improvement, student success, discuss the importance of the test rubric and how it helps you as a leader, but also how it helps them as teachers, and also how to use it during leadership to be an effective leader. NELP 7.2 was reflect on your capacity to develop, engage staff in a collaborative professional culture designed to promote, school improvement. This was the impact of teacher absentees and substitute costs, especially right now, with the low of getting subs, it's really hard. And so I was able to talk with my principal, and this was in Dr. Holly Cawthorn's class, discuss with my principal or in the administrators the impact of teacher absences and having to get a sub. And right now with the problem of getting a sub, my principal was able to talk to me about how, she's had to step in and take her time away from what she's supposed to be doing to help fill that role because that is her responsibility. And gathered information about funding and how much it is to pay a sub, the student impact, when there is a teacher absent, students lose routine. And if they don't have routine, there's more likely to have behavior problems. Subs are hard to find right now. And as an admin, you have to solve the problem if needed and fill in. Subs are costly and students react differently when their routine is disturbed. So that's why at the bottom we have substitutes needed, all positions. NELP 4 or 7.4 was reflect on your capacity to evaluate, develop, and implement systems of supervision, support, and evaluation. This was with my enrollment prediction assignment with Dr. Holly Cawthorn, able to look at the support that may be needed in the future, looking at my supervisions of evaluations, what is it going to be like in 5 to 10 years? What is the projected enrollment going to look at? How can I fix it? How can I change it from declining to enrolling? Looking at the master schedule evaluation, determining impact. How is my budget going to change? What can I change now to kind of save up in case that ever did happen? So you don't want to put yourself in that spot. If we have more students and we get more money and more funds, more things to do, more money to do things, and determining the economics living situation. Overall, Thank you for watching this, and this is just a little reflection of the overall program. And throughout these courses in this program at Henderson State University, I have learned the importance of how effective leaders engage others in a collaborative professional culture. These courses have taught me effective efforts in building a leadership team in a school of effective and healthy learning environments for both students and adults. I have learned the importance of creating school improvement goals based on success of all students and creating culture of learning, safety, and acceptance. As a future leader, I have learned the importance of a school vision and mission and how important it is to share and follow to keep everyone guided on the same goal to build our students up for not only now, but the future also. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed my video. Thank you.